You may be surprised that a rock can speak, but I've been on this earth so long that I have so much to tell you. I am a boulder. Well, strictly speaking, I'm not really a boulder because scientists only call stones boulders if they're at least bigger than half a meter. They just call me and my friends debris. To be honest, I would have preferred boulder because I've never been dragged like debris. Lifted and carried, yes, carried as well, but not dragged. Got you interested? Then listen. Well, in my youth, about 50 million years ago, I literally grew into the sky with the Alps. But what does I mean? It was us, and in reality we didn't grow, we were actually lifted. But that is a completely different story. But why us? Well, we were a high mountain, and in the high mountain range that people call the Hoher Tauern today. It was cold, it was hot, it was dry, and it was wet. And at some point I fell out of the rock face, got stuck in a high valley, and became rounder and rounder as I got older. But here's where it gets exciting, because one year the snow did not melt away for the whole summer. And the next year it did not melt away either, or the year after that. Yes, the snow did not melt away at all, and the snow became firn, and the firn became ice. And then, suddenly there was a jolt, and I was dragged along by an ever-increasing stream of ice, as it were, and soon I was part of a veritable network of ice streams. Well, after a few moments, well, moments for me, for you humans it must have been several hundred years, the scare was over again. The ice became less and less dense, subsided, and dissolved more and more until it finally melted completely. Now I could see where my journey had led me, to a round mountain which had been completely covered by ice only a short time before. Later, the people at its foot had set up a host of blacksmith workshops, so they called the brook where these craftsmen's workshops stood Schmieden, or Schmittenbach, and the mountain from whose heights the brook came, Schmittenhöhe. The water of the Schmittenbach transported me and many of my debris friends, yes, admittedly, sometimes we really did drag each other a bit, further and further down the river. The fact that we became a bit rounder over time is said to happen to some people as well. We were convinced we would end up in a deep lake, when suddenly strangely dressed people came and collected the rocks from the Hoher Tauern, because they were much harder than the puny slate and brittle rocks of the Schmittenhöhe. That's how I too was found. So I am a foundling after all, aren't I? And brought to a large construction site with many of my friends. How happy we were when we realized that we were to form the walls of a mighty tower in the future. But I was even happier when I was now taken out of the wall and chosen to tell you my story. Well, I intend to lie here for many millions of years to come. You're welcome to tell my story to others, for it also shows how the elements and forces of nature and the experience and skills of mankind are connected, and how new things can be created from the old.